All right, so you're getting into investing and you're trying to decide where should you put your money. Are you gonna invest in residential or commercial? Both can make you a lot of money. I would agree, commercial has a lot higher cap on how much you can make, but more risk. Obviously, if you read the title to this video, I recommend a new investor should start in residential real estate for many reasons, which I'm gonna tell you in this video. Now don't forget, like and subscribe, hit the bell, let's get into it. Before the why, let's talk about the what. What is residential and commercial real estate? Residential real estate is single family homes and multifamily up to only 4 units. So a fourplex, duplex, triplex. 1 to 4 units is residential real estate. That is it. Super easy, simple, and the main reason why I think new investors should go with residential properties. But commercial, that's gonna take a little bit. And if you stay with me till the end, on the commercial side, I'm going to explain what a single, a double, and a triple net lease is, but you have to understand more of the whole to understand those pieces. Commercial real estate is basically anywhere a business would be that could generate money. That could be from someone living there, or it could be from a business creating income. Commercial real estate covers so many different areas that we break it down. There are 4 main categories of commercial real estate. That's going to be office space, industrial, multifamily, and retail. Office space, pretty self-explanatory. So many of you guys go work for a mortgage company, Wells Fargo, all the different companies you can think of almost where you got your cubicle, that is your office space. Then you have industrial. The company might have a plant or someplace where they're making material. That's kind of also self-explanatory. Multifamily is going to be where someone's going to live, like an apartment complex of 5 units or bigger. And then you have retail. Now, you can see those are the 4 categories, but let's take retail, for example. You can break that down way further because they're dramatically different. In retail, you have hotels, restaurants, and shopping centers, for example. What a shopping center needs and what a hotel needs, or even a restaurant, is going to be dramatically different. They're completely different types of properties. The amenities that you as an investor are buying and need to offer are going to be completely different. Sometimes the build out, which is how much money you spend to kind of make it how it needs to be for that type of person, is going to be dramatically different. We have categories, these are subcategories, and then commercial real estate also has classifications based on location, price, how much rent you can get, quality, upgrades, etc. There are 3 actually different classifications. There's Class A, Class B, and Class C. Class A is going to be the premium. It's either brand new, just got updated to 2022 standards, and you're getting that type of tenant. You're going to be able to charge a lot for it, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. Class B is going to be a little older. A lot of investors do like to buy these to still put in updates because there's value in going from a Class B to a Class A because you're increasing rents, because there is a price difference, a rent difference between Class A and Class B. Class B is not something that you have to always put money in. You can buy it and rent it out typically as is. And that leads us to Class C. It's usually 20 plus years old, not updated at all. You got to come in here with a bunch of money, got to fix this all up. And then the location's usually a little bit older, rougher. And so you're trying to run the numbers on, if I bring in this much money and try to bring it up to a Class B or maybe a Class A, generally doesn't happen. But is it worth it? Can the area support that? Whew. That's a lot of stuff just to understand the basics of what commercial real estate is. And that leads me to my very first reason, is just how complicated it is. How many different avenues, how many different things you need to know in commercial real estate. If you were to invest, of course you have to niche down, smaller and smaller and smaller, and become an expert in that area. Most new investors don't even understand the basics, or if they do, they're not ready to go and tackle that. That alone is the main reason I would say always new investors go start with single family, unless you have unique circumstances. That brings me to the second reason, price. Commercial real estate is just more expensive. Sometimes a lot, millions and millions of dollars, sometimes more expensive than residential real estate. Do you have more money when you're starting out or less money? Usually when you're a new investor, you're gonna have less money, obviously, so you might not even have the money to go and buy a commercial real estate asset. The price and how expensive these are matter. Go invest your money where it's less risky, where you can actually take control of the whole experience, or if you do partner, it's with one person and not 5. That leads me to another reason. With these people that you've networked with, the more experience that you gain, the more money you have, are you able to take on the bigger risks that come with commercial real estate? One of those risks could be the economy. If the economy were to crash, what would happen? In the residential space, you have a tenant that lost their job, might not be able to pay you rent. Well, typically the worst case scenario is you have to not renew that lease or kick them out and go get a new tenant, someone else that has a job. But if demand drops, rent might decrease a little bit, but you're always going to be able to find, in most places, a tenant for your space. It's rare when you see a vacant home in most larger cities that stays vacant for long. Commercial real estate is a whole nother beast. Think about it. How many shopping centers have you seen with vacant spots? We've all been in cities too where it's been decades. You see that building just completely vacant. No one even goes and visits it, and the investor's not even taking care of it anymore. But yet they still have property taxes, insurance, or maybe the bank owns it. That is just another reason to stick with single family when you first start. Now we're getting to the 2 last reasons that I want to go over. The first part's going to be the lending. With commercial real estate loans are completely different than residential. The interest rates are higher. You're going to be paying more money. 2, the loans aren't as long. Typical residential loan is for 30 years. Residential amortized for 30 years. Commercial loans a lot of times are 25, 20, maybe even 15. Then, a lot of times you have a balloon payment when it comes to commercial real estate. What's a balloon payment, you say? You might have a 25-year amortization schedule with a balloon in 5 years or 10 years. And that means you'd have to pay it all back to the bank through a refinance, through collecting the money, through a private money loan, etc. In the commercial space, you have to have a short and a long-term game plan. You need to know what you're going to be doing for the next couple of years, so that way when it's time to refinance, you make sure that you have the money and you have your exit. And the last reason comes down to the leases. As promised, I said I would explain what a single, double, and triple net lease is. There are a lot more different types of leases because you can be as creative as you want in the commercial space. But the main 4 I'm going to talk about is a gross lease, a single, a double, and a triple net lease. These are extremely common in the commercial space. A gross lease is exactly what you're used to. It is a certain set rent every month. Unlike residential space, most of the time these gross leases are going to have built-in increases. They just get more complicated even in the simple areas. But what is a single, double, and triple net lease? You have to pay your typical rent, however that's calculated, whether it's calculated based on income or a set amount or whatever. What else are you paying on top of that? If you're paying for one of the 3 typical items, which are taxes, insurance, and maintenance, if you're paying for one of those, that is a single net lease. A double net lease would be paying for 2 of them, like taxes and insurance, and a triple net lease means you're paying for all 3 of them. That's between the tenant and the landlord, so all that gets negotiated. There's so many more points that come into play. Like I already said, super creative. You can add almost anything into these type of leases. So just with the complexity of this, I would say for most new investors, why complicate it more than it needs to be when you would have to learn all of that just to understand the lease that you have to be able to offer to your tenants. There you go. There are lots of reasons why I think new investors should invest in residential real estate first. Don't forget, like and subscribe to these videos. Click the bell. We come out with new videos every Thursday. Go watch the next one. I'll meet you there.